Hi everyone, this is Neve. Hello, this is me post-edit of this video, and I am here to tell you the reason why this video is so late. I've been promising this video for the past few videos now, and I've only just uploaded it because it has been one of the trickiest videos I've had to edit ever, because there are 3 different components I had to worry about when it came to editing this video. So the first was the fact I was using external audio because I had a microphone. Secondly was the screen recording of me doing the tier list, and then the third was me filming myself. And it made like this little layered sandwich in my editor, so it took a lot of precision, and usually when it comes to a video that's this long, it takes me a while to edit it as it is, but this took double, probably even triple the amount of time to edit. It's taken me weeks to edit this video. So I'm really sorry that it's so late, but I hope you enjoy it because it was really fun to film, and yeah. One more thing, because I actually didn't mention this in the beginning of the video. I think I mentioned it at the end, but I think it's important for people to hear this before we go into this video. These are just my opinions, okay? They're my opinions. You will probably not have the same opinions, and that's okay. But I'm also entitled to my own opinions, so let's keep the hostility in the comments down to a minimum, because I cannot be bothered to have like 50 of the same comments like, why did you put that album there? It's actually just the greatest album ever made. Like, for you it is, but for me it isn't, okay? So let's be civil. Enjoy the video! Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new video. So before I start this one, I just want to say thank you so much to those who have helped my last video get almost 20,000 views in under a week, making it my most viewed video probably in the last couple of years, maybe the last year or so. I had no idea that that video was gonna blow up all of a sudden. I mean, yeah, thank you so much. I don't really know what else to say other than thanks. Thanks for supporting the channel, everyone, and to everyone who is new, who has just come from that video, hi, my name is Neve. I talk about music on this channel, predominantly progressive rock, but I am now branching out into other genres, particularly metal and hard rock kind of related content. And today we're going to do another tier list. Yay! I really love these kinds of videos. I watch them all the time. I am obsessed with tier maker videos, and I've been watching so many of them recently that I thought, I've done one of these before, which if you haven't seen, definitely go check it out. It was me ranking progressive rock bands, but today I'm going to rank progressive rock albums, which it's a bit more specific than it's a bit more specific than bands. And I think I got this idea from someone who actually left a comment on that video. So thank you to the person who left that comment. I appreciate that. And yeah, let's begin. So yeah, tier list. We're going to rank progressive rock albums today because I love progressive rock. I've been getting back into it again. Those who have been a bit hostile to my new content will be happy to hear. There's quite a few of these on this list that I know, and there will obviously be that select few that I will not know, and that will make this more interesting because I'm not going to know every album labelled under progressive rock, unlike some people. So let's get that screen up. So here we are. Hello, I'm in the bottom corner now. So I have labelled these categories myself. Initially it was the, S, A, B, C, like it was in the last video, but I thought this is a lot easier for me to do. So the best of the best is greatest, then it's great, then it's good, then it's meh, I guess, meh, it's okay, don't like, and don't know. So this is albums. I'm gonna obviously be judging this on albums that I've listened to. There will be bands that may have albums in this list that I don't know. That doesn't mean I don't know the band, it just means I don't know the albums. I know a lot of these bands, I think I know most of them, to be honest, but yeah, I'm not going to know every album in the world. So let's begin. We've got some very iconic records in this list, and I've listened to quite a lot of them. Close to the Edge by Yes. This is my favourite Yes album, and of course that means it's going to go in greatest. I have never heard anything like this record before. If my last video was 20 or 25 albums that changed my life, this album probably would have made it in there. But this is a absolutely spectacular album with probably one of the best prog epics, if not my favourite prog epic, ever, which is the title track, and the following 2 tracks as well are just wonderful. So, one of the greatest prog albums ever, and bands. Yes. Next one, I don't know this record. I don't know this group either, so I'm gonna have to put that here because I don't know it. I'm very sorry. In the Court of the Crimson King. This is not my favourite King Crimson album, so I'm gonna put it in great because there are moments on this album where, as much as I love it, it's a fantastic record all around. There's some points which I find dip, if that makes sense. Like, it's not consistent enough for me to enjoy it all the time. It's not one I come back to often. It's one I come back to occasionally. But as a whole, it's a great record. It's just great. It's a great album. Okay, that's a cool looking album cover for the next one, but unfortunately I don't know it. Don't know this record. Well, if you watched my last video, for this next one, this is the greatest album ever made, in my humble opinion. By the way, I'm not ranking these when they go into the tier list. I'm just kind of plopping them in there, no particular order. But Animals is the greatest album ever made, in my opinion, and it's going in the greatest category. I believe that next one is Blackwater Park. Great record. I'm putting it in great. It hasn't quite reached greatest status yet. I feel like it might because I've been listening to that album a lot lately. As I said in the last video, which I believe it was the album of the day in one of my, I think, couple videos ago. I've been getting back into Opeth again because they've been announced as one of the headliners for Bloodstock next year, and so I thought I've got to get back listening to them. So I re-listened to Blackwater Park, which is a fantastic record, and I'm getting back into it again. It's probably my favourite of their discography at the moment. But it hasn't quite reached greatest yet because I don't come back to it that often, and I'm not as familiar with it as, some of these other records on this list. Okay, this is Porcupine Tree Dead Wing. With Porcupine Tree, I'm not actually overly familiar with their catalogue, which sounds really weird, but I know a lot of songs by them, but I think I've only ever heard this album once, so I'm going to put it in good. This is going to upset quite a lot of people. But I think it is a good album. I just haven't listened to it in a long time, and I don't really remember it, so I am very sorry. But the tracks I do know on that album are really good, but it's not one that I've come back to in a long time. So, actually, talking of Porcupine Tree, there's another one. I'm now gonna just skip. If anything that I don't know in this list, I'm not gonna say anything, I'm just gonna put it in there. Now, unlike Dead Wing, I can say for certain that this is going in the greatest. This is Fear of Blank Planet by Porcupine Tree. One of the best albums of the 2000s, one of the best prog albums, in my opinion. It's got a lovely 17-minute long epic with Anesthetize, or however you say it. I think in one of my videos when I pronounced it, people said I said it funny. But that is an absolutely brilliant track, and the album actually does feature Alex Lifeson and Robert Fripp. I don't know where Robert Fripp comes in on the album, I've forgotten, but I know Alex Lifeson plays lead on that title track, but it's got so many other great songs. It's such a dark record, and in terms of production, I aspire to have that kind of sound, that kind of mid-range to low and just booming, rich, warm frequencies and warm production. So, lovely album, great songwriting. Cannot get better than this album when it comes to Porcupine Tree. It's my favourite of theirs. Okay, Foxtrot, Genesis. This is a really great album, and I'm probably... I don't know where to put this one. I really don't. It's between great and good, because it's not one that I come back to a lot. It's not one that I'm awfully familiar with, weirdly enough. But it has got Suppers Ready on it and Watch of the Skies. But I can't really base something on just 2 tracks. But those 2 tracks are amazing. Okay, I'll put it in great. I'm going to leave it there for now, just for the sake of Suppers Ready. I was never awfully familiar with this record. I only listened to it a couple of times, and for some reason, I don't remember it as much as the other Genesis albums of that era. For example, like Nursery Crime and Selling England and Lamb Lies Down. For some reason, Foxtrot always kind of slipped in the cracks for me. I never really kind of gravitated to it that much. It was one that I was never listening to constantly. So actually I might put it down into good, just because it's not one I listened to that much, and I don't really have much of a connection with it. So, oops. It's going to upset a lot of people. But we like creating controversy on this channel. So, next one we have Fragile. That's just a great album. Not my favourite Yes album, however, it is a great album. It's not greatest status, but it is great. Obviously, it's got Roundabout and stuff like that, but it's also got probably one of my favourite Yes tracks on there, which is South Side of the Sky, which is a fantastic song. So, it's not demoted enough to good, but it is great. It's a great record. Okay, this is another Opeth record. Now, forgive me, but I've not listened to this album, so I'm going to have to put it in Don't Know. I've not listened to it yet, so oops. Okay, so this is God Bluff by Van der Graaf Generator, which has one of my favourite prog tracks on it, which is The Undercover Man, but that is the only song I remember from that album. It's Going in Good. I only remember one track from it, and to go to great or greatest, I need to at least remember the majority of the records. So yeah, it was one that I didn't put it on that often. I did listen to it, but I don't think I like it enough yet to put it any higher. Okay, getting into some progressive metal now. So we got Images and Words by Dream Theater. This was one of the first prog albums, I guess, I listened to in its entirety. And this is a great album. Actually, you know what? No, it's greatest. It's greatest. Because I'm taking a look at the list, and my favourite Dream Theater album's not actually on this list, but second favourite is Images and Words. That is an all-around great record. I know a lot of people have their prejudices against Dream Theater, but this is a remarkable record, especially for the time it came out as well. So we've got some brilliant tracks on. It's got my favourite Dream Theater song on it, and funnily enough, it's not like a 500-minute long song. It's Wait for Sleep, which is like a 2.5-minute little ballad in the middle of the record, and it is such a wonderful song. And I remember hearing that for the first time and thinking, what? This is just magnificent. And the production's okay, but the playing is fantastic. I really like the songwriting on this album. I think over the years, Dream Theater songwriting has kind of gone down a bit, particularly with their last few albums. I did like their last album, but nothing in their career can compare to this album, I guess, because it's their second record, and it's early on, and it has Mike Portnoy, obviously. The best drummer they had, in my opinion. But yeah, Images and Words, fantastic record. I'm back again, middle of the video, and do you know what I found really funny? Talking about Dream Theater, this was before the band announced that Mike Portnoy was coming back into Dream Theater, so past me had no idea what was coming. So yeah, I just thought it'd be really funny to mention that, because yes, I am aware he is back in Dream Theater. I do not need all the comments telling me that. Okay, Larks, Tongues and Aspic. It's going in great. There's one track that stops that from getting in greatest. If that track did not exist on this record, it would be in greatest, and that is Easy Money. I never liked that song, and the rest of the album is so good. I mean, Exiles, the title track, but it's just Easy Money. I never liked that song. I could never just get past the kind of weirdness of it, and that sounds really ironic because we're talking about progressive rock, but I just didn't like that song. I didn't like the song. Well, I liked the music part. I just didn't like the lyrics. I just thought they were a bit stupid. But yeah, oops. I'm saying oops a lot. forgive me. Another Dream Theater. We've got Scenes from a Memory. So this is, I think a lot of people consider this record their best. I don't. I actually saw them in London when they played the entirety of this album, and it was really, really good, and I really enjoyed it, but it's still just a good for me. It's a good album. And I never really felt the urge to put it on. The only time I ever really listened to it was because I loved Dance of Eternity, which is that really bizarre 100-time signature changes weird song. Brilliantly constructed. I just never, I don't know, I never really connected with the rest of the record. It was really well written. I liked the concept, but it was just never my favorite. And it's up there with my favorites, but it's not quite in the top 5. You know what I mean? It's a little bit overrated in my opinion. It's got some really fantastic moments, but as a whole, I think Images and Words is just, as an album, a better album. Okay, we got Pawn Hearts by Van der Graaf Generator up next. Fantastic record, by the way. So I'm going to put that up in great. I liked Van der Graaf Generator during my prog kind of listening era, my bad. And I still really like them. It's just not a band that I've come back to as often as some of the other ones, which I have been meaning to come back to them. I just never have. It's a great record. It's got Plague of Lighthouse Keepers, which is the long track. Great track. Love Hamill's voice on this record. It's fantastic, and obviously his lyric writing is unreal. I mean, I aspire to write lyrics like that. But what stops it from being in greatest is just the amount of times I've listened to it and kind of my connection with the album. Unlike all those in greatest, I've never had like a massive connection with this band. Maybe I've just got to keep listening to them and see what happens. They've not quite reached greatest status yet. I'm going to put this one where it deserves. No further comments. It is the best King Crimson record. It's a perfect record. I see nothing wrong with this record. Ooh, Selling England by the Pound. Great. It's a great album. Not my favourite Genesis album, but it is a great album. If Nursery Crime didn't exist, it would be my favourite. And it would be in greatest. But there are points on this album that I don't enjoy as much as Nursery Crime. As an album, I think Nursery Crime is a lot better. I prefer the themes on that album, and I prefer the playing and the singing and everything, but this album, Selling England, is absolutely fantastic anyways. I think this album is a lot more ethereal and whimsical. I love using those words for music at the moment, by the way. It's very English, so is most of the early Genesis, but this one particularly has a very, very medieval England kind of feel, which I do love. But I think the thing that draws me more towards Nursery Crime and what takes it away from greatest is that it's a lot less rocky. There are some very hard-hitting moments on this album, but not instrumentally. And I think there's more of that, and there's more drama on Nursery Crime, which I think this album kind of lacks. There is a lot of it on this album, don't get me wrong. I mean, this album's crammed full of drama, but I just think the drama on Nursery Crime is a bit better, and that's what stops it from being greatest. Okay, we've got another Opeth record here. Again, I haven't listened to this one, so it's gonna have to be in Don't Know. We haven't actually got anything in here that's in Don't Like, so good list. Okay, well, we all know this record, Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. The original version. Gonna upset a few people. It's great. It's a great album. It's not the greatest album, but it is a great album. Do not get me wrong. I just think this is Floyd at their most commercial, and what stops this from being better than Animals is Animals was a little bit less like that. I love the structure of the album a lot more on Animals and the long jammy kind of aspect of it. This album's very condensed down. It's all the fat's kind of feels like it's been sucked out of it. But that being said, the contents of this record are fantastic. The songwriting, fantastic. Music, fantastic. I just prefer Animals. Okay. This is Steven Wilson's solo record, The Raven That Refused to Sing. I have not listened to this album in its entirety, so I gotta put it in Don't Know. It's one that I've been meaning to get round to for so long. I just haven't had the time, really, or I've just not thought about it in a while, so I'll probably come back to it. It's one that I really do want to listen to, but I've just not listened to it yet, so I can't really put it in the list without any sort of judgment. Train of Thought. It's got Endless Sacrifice. It's got Wither. It's got Stream of Consciousness. Is that the name of it? I think it's definitely Stream of Consciousness. It's good. No, it's not. It's great. It's great. This is a great album. I think this is probably one of the last Dream Theater albums that I can safely say I really, really enjoyed. My favourite Dream Theater album is, I believe it came after this. What's the name of it? Come on. Black Clouds and Silver Linings. I think after that album was when I stopped or when I thought that Dream Theater started to lack a little bit. And I think they've depleted in that kind of songwriting and playing environment. They became, I mean, they've always been robotic and playing stupidly quick, but I think there's a lot more of that now than there was then. But Train of Thought is a fantastic record with those songs on it. Wish You Were Here. Greatest. This is my second favourite Floyd album, and similarly with Red, I will not elaborate. This album has no bad moments, no bad tracks. Fantastic all around. So, we're nearly at the end. Wow, crazy. Tales from Topographic Oceans. Meh. It's meh. Never really liked this album, to be honest. It was one that I really tried to like because it's Yes and it's early Yes. I just found myself getting bored so much in this record. It's like the playing is great. That's why I can't put it in Don't Like. Like the actual musicianship and the actual kind of, I guess just the musicianship really is fantastic, but the lyrics and the kind of, I just found this one quite self-indulgent, stupidly long. Found it hard to kind of keep myself up in this one. Yeah, I think I'm not alone in that opinion. I think Tales from Topographic Oceans is not everyone's cup of tea. I think there's like a select group of people that really like this album, but I am not one of them. The Yes album. It's a great album. Yeah, it's just a great album. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's great. It's great. This is In Absentia, isn't it? Yeah. This is by Porcupine Tree again. Again, I'm gonna have to put it in good. I have not listened to the entirety of this album in a very long time. I just remember it being good. Like, I've listened to tracks from it, and there are tracks I come back to. Similarly with Deadwing, it's just I haven't listened to it enough and gathered a connection with this album as much as I have with Fear of a Blank Planet. Yeah, it's what I've heard is fantastic. What I remember is fantastic. Just haven't listened to the whole thing in a long time, and I'm being completely unbiased here. If I was being unbiased, I would have put them all up in greatest, but I don't know, if I was being biased, I would have put them all up in greatest, but I'm being strict and being brutal here, and this is my tier list. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts, if you agreed, if you disagreed. I know a lot of people might be a little bit funny about some of my explanations. Sorry if the explanations weren't all that in depth. It's just I had a lot of albums to get through, and if I was going in depth with every single record on this list, we would be here a long, long time. And I need to condense this down as much as possible so that people don't get bored. Thank you for watching, and I will hopefully see you in another video. Bye bye.